This is the Ruckus and The Menace Sports Podcast.
Oh no! We suck again!
I'm getting confused. What game are you calling?
I'm calling both games.
It is caught by Kelsey! Touchdown! Kansas City!
I need 3 of those things, baby. We ain't done yet. We ain't done yet. You like that? You like that? I like that.
How's it going, Ruckus and The Menace Sports fam? It's time once again for another episode of the Ruckus and The Menace Sports Podcast. Episode number 150. I'm Spence the Menace.
And I am 150. We got a few years ago to where it's tree fitty, but the Loch Ness Monster is not here yet.
Yeah. And on this episode, we go through the transaction log, the Eastwood segment, the good, bad, and the ugly, which will segue right into color commentary, where we have one major topic. No real major high heat other than possibly talking about some potential things.
Yep.
And then to our stud and dud of the week, where we will get into maybe a little bit more detail.
Yes,
well,
sir.
Ruckus, how far have you gotten into the program, first inning program for MLB The Show? Because it's double XP right now, and the program ends Friday. Pretty much Friday.
Alright, so I've done, mainly some Diamond Dynasty when I started, the week it came out, or the early period. So I've been doing that. I've been grinding a little bit on the Conquest, but also just in general, I've mainly been doing the March, October stuff to gain the XP, but other than that, I've been doing, the mini-seasons, because I saw there was a Sabathia card you could get, but also, I've been kind of just chilling with that. I'm not trying to get myself burnt out so quickly from it, but we'll see what the devs have to do with the DLC and whatnot to keep us engaged with the game.
Keeping the live content going, yeah. I have...
But I do love my steroid to the Venom. And my favorite thing is just, every time I get a strikeout, so, sometimes I'll forget at first. I'll be like, oh shit, I probably should have, done the little steroid 3. Sometimes I'll go crazy, and yes, I'm wearing shorts, and yes, they're normal shorts. These are Baby Yoda shorts. They say morning snack and midnight snack. It's pretty cute, but up close it looks like I'm just wearing undies, so bear with me. But anyway, sometimes I'll go steroid 2, or not 2, steroid 3. Sometimes I'll give a little kick, kind of in the SNL skit that I think it was Kate McKinnon had, where she was like, I'll give a little... Or wait, no, was it Kristen Wiig? I feel like it was probably Kristen Wiig.
I'm not
where
too
she
sure.
does, I'll do a little kick
back.
and a little Because I feel like it was... Because I'm either thinking of Kate McKinnon when she's the one chick that's got her legs spread while smoking a cigarette, talking about how aliens exist or whatever in SNL. But anyways, let's graduate back to where we need to be.
I've been going hard in the paint.
I'll go hard in the
Yeah. But
shout out Waka Flocka.
it is a sense of that I just kept finding good ways to gain the experience. And the double PXP weekend, I took full advantage in getting
PXP?
a lot more. What, PXP? Parallel experience.
Oh, I thought, because for someone that doesn't know what the hell that means, it probably means you're playing against other players and you have to get XP through that. That's what I was thinking anyways.
Well, those are ways But with Diamond Dynasty, I was able to. I have not completed a team collection yet. I've barely spent the stub, with the exception of the Spring Breakout Showdown, because they require 100 stub fees.
In honesty,
Every time
though,
you do.
the only thing I tried to complete with the team affinity was the Bobby Witt rookie card, and I've just been milking that cow ever since. Like, I get a hit with him, I'm like, all right, he's got 99 steal and speed. Let's just use him and
Well, I've
abuse
been
the
getting
card.
jolts. I have a few jolt players now. I have the Yankees. I have Babe Ruth. I have Clay Buchholz. I have Roy Halladay. I'm very close to getting Schwarber.
Have you
James
tried the
Wood
Last
is on-
Ride program where it's David Ortiz and Musina?
Oh, I have Musina and Poppy right now. I actually got them both. It took me longer to get to Big Poppy, but it also helped my Red Sox affinity.
Mhm.
Also, pulling the pipeline Marcelo Meyer really helped a lot too.
I
I didn't.
When it came to Musina, I was just mainly trying to grind him a little bit more, but I get kind of bored with like the pitchers that take longer to just wind up the damn ball and throw it on the mound.
Musina's really good.
But he is good. You know who's too good in this game? Matt Waldron. That man throws a knuckle and it looks like it's going to come quicker, but then you swing at it and it's like, no, not today.
No,
not
I
today.
I can hit Matt Waldron. I faced him in a conquest and
Prove it.
I am not.
Make a
not even-
video. Make a video. Pics where it didn't happen.
I think I got a perfect. Thinking that run, I think I did get a perfect home run with Meyer. So it is doable, because those knuckleballs are still traveling at about 70 to 80. So they're hittable.
They're just freaking annoying to swing at because you're like,
Oh,
it's like
yeah,
a
they
wiffle
are.
ball.
Oh yeah, they are. Oh yeah, they are annoying. But yeah, I can. Yeah, Waldron is hittable. You just gotta figure out where that knuckleball is. But I am all the way through the program. I have nearly gotten through the 30,000 XP loop to get some of the extra things.
Mhm.
I've nearly gone around twice. So I am currently, as far as my grind side, I am grinding team affinities for the Guardians, the Royals, which I'm very close to completing both of those for their jolts. So I'll have George Brett soon, and all of George Brett and Andrew Miller. I also completed the Common Courtesy program, which is the April Fool's program. And that one that's a fun program, because you have to play with a lot of common players to get it. But play them in 9-inning games, win or lose, 9-inning games, complete the tasks, and you'll get that done. But in April Fool's fashion, you're getting the common versions through the beginning. But there's a collection that if you complete all 4, you'll get all 4 88 overalls. Or all 4 of like them in diamond form. Which means you'll get a diamond Musial, a diamond Joe Morgan, a diamond Vida Blue, and a diamond Richie Ashburn. I've thrown with that diamond Vida Blue. That Vida Blue in this game is really good. I had a lot of comfort in.
I haven't even
pitching with
used Vita Blue, but I also just feel like the 85, 86 diamonds are gonna at some point near the end of the game be like 99 or 97 overall.
Oh yeah, I think they may power creep them a little bit, but I think they're probably going to get some more power creep. And I already have completed the storyline, or no, not the storyline. Not all the storylines. I haven't done those yet. I just completed Cool Papa Bell for those. But the spotlight missions, I've already got all that done.
Oh, for the league.
Yep, I have the Jordan Westberg. I have the Jordan Westberg. So
I hope that they don't go into a different path for the moments for. I kind of liked how there were moments like in MLB The Show 2022 or 2021 where you got to collect more guys or like grind a little bit. Like I like the grind. It just not so like not in like a different tier where it's just like
yeah,
you feel
I
like
don't.
you're just
The only thing
gonna
I
burn.
don't like is that so many of the guys are behind a pack wall. So many of the guys you want are behind a pack wall, and the stub values on the ones that are in the pack wall are pretty high
That's
costing.
what
So
I
you
don't
got
like either.
so for the ones you're wanting, you really want to wait for the price to come down. Which the problem is that I would start doing collections, but the prices on some of the players that you really, really want are still way too high.
Yeah, and the one thing that I don't like right now with the transparency is well, like in the beginning of the game when the season started, usually they would have everything lower, and then the first week that the game came out, you would have like a week of challenges and whatnot, and you would do those, and then the next week would come out, and then you would do those, and then the next week. So it was like a
Yeah.
four. Maybe I just need to keep going into it, but I just feel like you should just do it instead of week to week. Just do it for that month, and then do it, and then just grind through that, and then do another month after that, rather than update it. You know.
Yeah. I mean, I'm rolling along just fine. I had the new threads challenge. A little
I
sickening that I
don't
was able
like
to
that one. I think it's dumb. It's just like, okay, cool. Max Scherzer is with the Blue Jays now. Well, his arm still isn't going to be the greatest that it's ever been. Good. I mean, yeah, you get to use
it
him
was a
early.
little I will admit it was a little sickening how quickly I was able to go through that because I cashed in on a double PXP weekend for
I
it.
didn't give a shit about it. I was just kind of like, okay, this exists, but I'm not going to like put much effort into it. I do like that they still have the mini seasons. I still do like that they have Conquest. That's great.
Diamond
The
Quest is good.
Diamond Quest is okay. Like, yes, there are times where it's cool to have the dice mechanic, but let's say you're trying to feel out the whole map to feel like you're getting something out of it rather than just like the other zones and whatnot. It feels like it was like half baked in the oven. It wasn't perfect, and I think if anything, they should automatically roll the dice so you don't have to do it manually, because that can be annoying for someone that just wants to play the game and just kind of
I don't mind that as much. Just simply because if you're wanting to go through a dice roll and you want to actually like stop for a second,
but that's the
like
thing, it's
actually
random number generation. It's really not like set, but like I think if anything, they should just think it a little bit more through, but at the same time, like I would have rather just played mini seasons or Conquest and just went
oh,
based
and
off of the reward.
they're giving you maps. I am still behind on maps.
I'm just kind of coasting through it. Like I'm not going so hard on Diamond Dynasty like I went previous years, but like I'm more so focused on not Road to the Show, March October. I did have a thought on Road to the Show to use Hank Hill as like a character.
Yeah.
And
Oh, don't get me. Oh, don't get it twisted here. I have also been going hard in the paint with my March to October and Road to the Show.
I like the
My
March
road to-
October the best though because it's more like you get to control what you do, and sometimes the elements hit you in the face, and you're just like, okay, I need to like figure this out.
And yes, I have said it. I've said it before. I am going to say it again. It may not release until probably June, but I may have a second March to October going. I probably will have a second March to October. And I am still working title. Still working title. I already know the team that I'm going to do it with. And Ruckus, I know I've already told you what the team is.
At some point in the future, you did. I just right now it's blank. It's a blank, but we don't really need to go into that. We need to focus more
Yeah.
on the podcast
Oh
at
yeah.
hand.
I also was kind of going through the beginning of that because I know we don't have a lot. So at the same time, we can go right into the transaction log and saying that Paige Beckers and the Yukon women and the Florida men, as far as basketball goes, have won the March Madness National Championships for college basketball. We will mention more about this later, especially on the men's side.
Yep.
Carmelo Anthony, Dwight Howard, Sue Bird, the 2008 U.S. men's national team, Maya Moore, and referee Danny Crawford have now become Basketball Hall of Famers. So they have officially been inducted into the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame.
That was more of
With
like
three-
a kazoo there at that time. I was just like, hooray.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Oh yeah, there are some names that yes do deserve it. I do think Sue Bird deserves it. I do think Maya Moore deserves it. Melo's borderline. Dwight Howard was borderline. I just think that a lot of the big names that eventually are going to get in are still playing right now.
Melo is borderline. Man, come on. He's better than Dwight Howard.
Better than Dwight Howard, yes. But I think still on the borderline. Yeah, I think Melo could score, but Melo, other than his Olympic accomplishments, wasn't much. Or wasn't as much as what people hype him up to be.
Yeah.
And with 3 games to go, the NBA playoff field is almost set. It is down to a lot of positioning as far as seeds 4 through 7 in the Western Conference, although Denver has put itself in an odd position as Mike Malone has now been fired. Yeah, the coach that got him a championship. The Nuggets are still playing ball as they're in the playoffs, and now they fire the head coach.
This is literally that meme where it's like that like furry guy is looking at his hands and he's just like
It's
like just confused, like what the hell had just happened?
I was gonna say it looks more like the meme where the dog's in the house that's on fire,
He's just like,
and the Nuggets,
this is fine.
and they're looking here and say this is fine. Yeah, I just think the Nuggets are in that situation right now. However, and on top of that, also the Timberwolves are still a game back from possibly putting themselves in position to get inside that crowded field of 4 through 7 as the 8 seed, and the Lakers are a game ahead of it and could fall into that potential battle. And the Dallas Mavericks are 3 games ahead of the Phoenix Suns, which is currently right now exactly enough but the Phoenix Suns have also lost their last 7. So if Phoenix loses one more, the 10th and final seed is set. Or at least the 10 that'll make it are set. And those 10 teams in the Western Conference are the Oklahoma City Thunder, who have clinched the number 1 overall seed. The Houston Rockets, who have secured the number 2 overall seed. Seeds 3 through 8 are the Los Angeles Lakers, currently right now, as of right now, the Lakers, the Clippers, the Nuggets, the Golden State Warriors, the Memphis Grizzlies, and the Minnesota Timberwolves. A play-in berth has officially been clinched for the Sacramento Kings. And the team that currently holds the last playoff spot, unless they lose 3 and the Suns win out, is the Dallas Mavericks. Yes, the team that traded away Luka Doncic still sits at a potential play-in game.
This is enough evidence to show that I truly care about the NBA and the playoffs. Yay. Do better. Come on, I'm waiting for the finals. The NBA is so boring, it's not even funny. The March Madness is more entertaining than the whole NBA season so far. Thank you, you're welcome. I'm here
And then
all
the
night.
Eastern Conference. The 10 teams are officially set. Seeding still have a little bit of movement still possible, but all 10 teams have official spots. The 10 teams that are making it are the Cleveland Cavaliers, who have the number 1 overall seed. The Boston Celtics, who have the 2 overall seed. The muffled middle consists of the New York Knicks, Indiana Pacers, Milwaukee Bucks, Detroit Pistons, Orlando Magic, and then the play-in teams, the team that can push up into the top, or into the seeding if certain things go certain ways, possibly, are the Orlando Magic. Actually, no, they're probably play-in bound here. The Orlando Magic, the Atlanta Hawks, the Chicago Bulls, and the Miami Heat. And currently, the team that has the worst record in the league is the Utah Jazz.
All right,
So
let's
yeah. And then there was Vlad Jr. signing a deal for $500 million.
Yay, I'm back to paying attention now. Hooray. Yeah, so my hot take on the Vlad Jr. signing is I don't know if he was really worth $500 million, but it's over a 14-year span. Patrick Mahomes, I think, had a 10-year, $500 million deal, and they manipulated that to high heavens because why not? And that's how the salary cap works. But anywho, do we want to start talking about the salary cap, or are we gonna?
Well, I think we're potentially gonna hit that here as we go into the Eastwood segment of the good, the bad, and the ugly.
All right, you ready?
Yeah.
As my Clint Eastwood head approaches on my Discord thing. What was good this week, Spennis? I know you were waiting for it.
Yes.
I know I was waiting for it, but it finally happened.
Alexander Ovechkin has officially passed Wayne Gretzky as having the most goals in an NHL career. He crossed number 895 against the New York Islanders on Sunday. That was definitely a big it was definitely a big goal that to be had. He scored it.
Some would say the greatest.
Yeah, he scored it in the second period. Scored it with 7:26 to go in the second period. And though the Capitals lost the game, Ovechkin, of course, was called for the start of the game.
Yep.
And he has exactly 895 goals at the current moment.
And what was the bad this week?
Teams that had them in the first half, I'm not gonna lie, holding on to a halftime lead during the Final Four of March Madness. Reason why? Out of all the teams that did it, none of them won it. None of them won the respective game.
Especially the one that was sad was definitely Houston, because literally all they had to do in the NBA Finals, eventually at one point the defender or the offensive player will learn what the defender's doing, and they'll be like, okay, let me one up you one bit. You know when that you're trying to block my shot, and then I just get that little leg up, and I'm just like, and then I just like get it in there, and it just works. Cool. Well, in March Madness, you don't have any of that experience. It's more just like, okay, I need a three to tie it. Okay, great. So I'll get the ball, I'll shoot it. Oh shit, the guy's got his two hands up. Well, I don't have any experience to like move it this way or that way. I'm just gonna hold the ball, and then it's just gonna I can't touch the ball. Oh well, crap, I should have thought about that. That's how I summarize the Houston game in the nutshell at the end.
Yeah. Oh, I think what was also heartbreaking was Duke also losing theirs late.
That sucked. It definitely did.
Yeah. But I will say this. Cooper Flagg is the real deal. He is the winner of the Naismith Award for the men's side. Or no, not the Naismith, the Wooden. The Wooden. I think the Naismith is on the women's side.
Do you think there could be any red flags
about Cooper Flagg as a player? It's hard to tell what the red flags would be on him, because his basketball IQ through the roof. He can shoot, he can score, he can rebound, he can play defense, he can pass the ball. He's kind of got he basically is LeBron James basketball IQ with a better jump shot, with pretty much a better jump shot.
I don't know.
He's only and the scary part is that I think he's only like 18, 19.
Cooper?
So Cooper Flagg? Yeah.
Yeah, he does look like a fetus that doesn't have enough facial hair to grow yet. That'll come later.
Yeah, Cooper Flagg was... I think he's...
Kind of reminds me of Tyler Hansbrough a little bit, just like the facial features a little bit.
Well...
From North Carolina.
Yeah, Cooper... He actually is only 18. Born in December of 2006.
God damn.
He is only 18 years old.
So what you're telling me is the 2000s kids, like the early 2000s kids, are probably in the major leagues right now. We don't even know it.
There are kids, yes. because I believe,
I was born in '97. I feel so old.
Yeah. oh, I believe the Orioles, like the top prospect for the, Jackson Holiday's 21, and he was born in 2003. So
Speaking of
we're
new
now at the
things,
translated. We are old. We are now officially, to some of these rookies that are out in these pro leagues, unks.
okay, what's the downright ugly?
The downright ugly is MLB's future hanging in the balance. There is a potential CBA agreement coming soon, but there are some things that the owners are clamoring for and the players could be clamoring for in trying to figure out what necessarily is going to be on the CBA. But one of the things that the owners have been lobbying for, as there potentially could be a lockout if there's no agreement, the owners are wanting a salary cap to be placed in baseball. So, we're moving on to our color commentary, as this has kind of been a major crux of the issue, is the pros and cons of the MLB going to a salary cap. I have this broken down into three major themes, or three major sides. Reasons why they should, reasons why they shouldn't, and things to consider before any decision or agreement should be made. And Ruckus, where do you feel, or where is your inkling toward the major leagues and having a salary cap?
Well, of course it's going to be complicated at first. Like for the dawn of time, it was the Yankees and the Red Sox and maybe a few other teams that had like the high market teams, but it was predominantly the Yankees. So, in order to compete with the Yankees, you kind of had to pay for talent that was there, but try to overspend over what the Yankees were doing. Like that was the
There was
early
a
two
point where the
thousands
New
in the
York
nutshell.
Yankees. Oh yeah, the George Steinbrenner years, the New York Yankees were definitely the New York Bankies.
And then
now there's other teams that are spending out the wazoo. The Mets have done it. The Dodgers are currently doing it.
yep, and a lot of deferred money by the Dodgers in that fact. But
Oh yeah.
the thing
And
about so can I finish this out?
Yep.
All right. So I think so the problem with the salary cap is definitely going to be how much leeway the bigger teams that have the money to go through it. Because right now, the situation is okay. There's a luxury tax on players, and the teams that are spending the most money just don't give a shit what the salary tax is. Also, you don't. I feel like there's like very little pro league teams that actually use a salary cap. Like I don't think the MLS really does it. The only other salary cap teams are the NFL and
the NBA has one with a luxury tax. I think the NHL does the same thing.
But I'm pissed that so the reason why I think so it's a yin yang effect at the end of the day when it comes to salary cap. You got to figure out your yin, you got to figure out your yang, because
and then the farm system.
well, that's part of the yang is like, okay, you could get a team that develops player, like maybe they had to change things to where like the arbitration period is longer, or maybe other factors to that. But I think the salary cap definitely will benefit a little bit of the MLB. Like, it won't be as like it'll be definitely a longer period of time before we see like those giant contracts like they have for the NFL right now, where like people are getting the bag there, but it's all based off
Oh,
of like the profit overall.
NBA money is bonkers. NBA money's bonkers.
What
Major
about
League Baseball
MLB?
money is bonkers. Yeah,
Major League.
I
But
was
how
getting
do
there.
you
I was
how do
getting
you
there.
how do you
I said
control that
MLB money
though?
is bonkers.
How do you
Like, it's
control that
bonkers right now.
though?
Well, this is the reason why a salary cap comes in. It benefits smaller market teams in a sense that it limits what big market teams can buy.
I
Can
like
pretty
the
much just say,
idea the small market team is either getting ran by its manager, which doesn't want to spend money, or it's trying to thrive, but the manager doesn't want to spend money. I like that it benefits the small teams because it forces, in a sense, like
it
they're not.
gives them more. It gives them more to play with.
I think if anything, the regulation should be that the small market teams have to spend whatever to like help, and then the
Yeah,
big market teams they just have to be smarter with what they spend on a player, and if they because like for the Broncos for example in the NFL they spent like 50 million a year on Russell Wilson,
Mm.
and then a
Oh
year
yeah,
later
they
he's
dealt with
on the
cap issues.
Steelers and whatnot, and he's getting paid less. Like, could someone find a loophole in the MLB to, in a weird superstitious way, um, like get a player that did freakishly bad one year and the next year he just turns into gold? Like, it's weird how there's different dynamics for sure, but I think it would be good for the salary cap to be implemented in the MLB. I think it'd be very interesting
It
because
would
like the
make it.
Braves, the Braves the Braves run that shit like it's nothing when it comes to signing their key free agents. Like they lock them for a couple of years. It's kind of like what the Chiefs do, but besides the donating to charity, that's about it with the
Yeah,
Braves.
but I think that the issues of where the MLB kind of could go wrong with this is that I think it cuts out the intrigue of excitement of those Moneyball small market teams. Like a lot of that track record of the Rays, the Tampa Bay Rays, their big MO is I'm not spending a lot of money, but these players that I'm not spending a ton of money on are giving me this massive bang for buck.
But
And
how
yeah, you
massive
could
does
still
that buck
you
become
could you
whenever
could
you just stomp on it and just not become competitive? Like you're just in the wild card most of the time, and then you just lose because the other team is doing better and they spent more. It doesn't benefit.
yeah, yeah, but I'm saying like the intrigue and excitement of Moneyball small market teams doing well. I mean, Tampa Bay, the biggest thing about the Rays is that they've either been hanging around in the wild card or they've made the playoffs, or
They
even
lost
further on top of that,
horribly.
they've made World Series.
But they lost those World Series. They lost to the talent that was there. And
I
the
mean,
problem with that is they didn't force it.
well, they lost to a heavy buying team. Well, and this is a heavy buying team before they were a heavy buying team in the Dodgers.
Well, they had
And then
heavy
also in
bullpen help
2000,
too.
well, and then 2008, and then and in 2008, the Rays had also made the World Series, and they lost to the Phillies. And the Phillies had, I mean, they had a rising Cole
Paul
Hamels. They had a couple of.
Crawford.
Well, I was also mentioned. Well, that was what the Rays had, but I was saying the Phillies had. The Phillies had a core that was bound to do something. And this was before the Rays or the Phillies even had Roy Halladay. Yeah, Roy Halladay was still a Blue Jay, so he did not have a World Series ring.
My point
But
is, it doesn't help the small markets when you don't have a salary cap.
I mean, it doesn't help him. It doesn't help him.
That's why you
It
had an Oakland A's team that suffered horribly when it came to management and whatnot. I don't know if that meant that like they couldn't spend money on a stadium or anything like that, because like you see that with the Chiefs, where they're not really spending money to like invest right now because they're trying to figure out what they're doing for their future. So it really all just
yeah,
depends on the internal team stuff.
but yeah, there's different ways to. Baseball has shown, even with the salary cap the way it is, even if they decide, oh, why don't we just give them a floor? Baseball has shown that you don't necessarily have to spend money to win World Series. So yeah, some role. Yeah, there are times where the winner. Yeah, there were times where actually 2001 especially where the Diamondbacks didn't have as much of a payroll. 2002 the Angels didn't have much of a payroll. For the winner, 14 out of
It all comes with luck
let's
too,
see.
but at the same time, it's just health as well. But again, like there are ways where it's like a team could pay out the ass for a player and then not have anything good with happening
Yeah.
with them. Which, in your example, it was the Mets and um, a few other teams that spent a lot. But
Yeah, the lower payroll champion, the lowest one, I think, if we were to necessarily call it, is that I think it was the Marlins. The lowest payroll. I'm just trying to find the lowest payroll.
it's okay. Joe Loria was playing fantasy football and mixed it with fantasy baseball.
Yeah. Yeah, the 2001. Yeah, the Diamondbacks were eighth. Were eighth in roll. Were eighth in payroll. The Angels were. The Angels were in the middle of the road. The Marlins. The Marlins had a payroll of only 47.85 million, which was less than a third of that spent by the Yankees.
All right, what are things to consider with the salary cap?
Yeah. So I think that the salary cap, I still think the things you got to consider really farm systems, and especially in terms of how players get called up, because whenever they get called up, of course, they're going to get a pretty decent contract. But most of the time, whenever these rookies enter in, their contract is usually dirt cheap. They're usually cheap.
I think it also just depends on when they get drafted too, but yeah.
Yeah,
Like
but
at
you're
least in
not.
the NFL, but yeah.
Yeah,
It's
but
super cheap.
realize that a call up in the major leagues is not necessarily gonna give you a lot of money.
Right,
Like
because they can
you're
go
not
based off
going
of
out
just your
there and
main
getting.
contract, like in the minor leagues. Like it could be like
Yeah,
500K or whatever, but you're not gonna get like 3 million per year like in the NFL draft, where it's like if
yeah,
you get picked like 10th
yeah.
overall.
Where you're a top draft pick.
Yeah.
You're probably getting closer to practice squad money when you're a rookie in the major leagues. But that's where arbitrations kind of come in. You get the first bid out of the way. They sign the deal. Sign the deal. You get a decent amount of arbitration, and there you go.
All right. So for our stud and dud of the week, we have at least for me, we have. Come on, let me look. All right, here we go. So for my stud, we have Vinny Pasquantino mentally approaching, or with his mentality approach in the latest podcast episode of Digging Deep with Eric Hosmer, Peter Moylan, and other associated guests. Sometimes Moose is on there, sometimes he's not. But it's mainly Pete Moylan, Eric Hosmer, and I think like one of his best buddies, Eric Hosmer's best buddies. I don't remember his name, but he also just kind of slips my mind just in general because I just kind of see him and I'm just like, okay, who's this guy? But Vinny Pasquantino was the main feature of this podcast, and he talks about his like just how he goes as far as like his mentality, and he surprisingly said, I don't play baseball for the money. I am Vinny at the end of the day. Like, he just kind of goes into like at this point in my career, well, if someone is better than me and they play my position, then I'm trying to play like they can't replace me. But at the same time, if he replaces him, that's just how it is. He's not going to have a fit or anything like that. And that's somewhat of a good mindset. My dud is...
It is a little different that Vinny Pasquantino is also 27. He's also 27, so yeah, a younger player could come along and do well, and yeah, he's playing from a more mature perspective.
Yep. And then my dud is Gunnar Henderson for the overrated chance at Kaufman, because I think it's funny that a year ago or two they were touting Gunnar Henderson as being better than Bobby Witt, and he just didn't look good at the plate this homestand against the Royals. All right, Stennis, what do you got?
All right, my stud this week is Red Sox center fielder Jarren Duran for being open and transparent about his struggles in 21 and 22. And the major piece of this is that he opened up about his suicide attempts around that time with a rifle that he had locked, loaded, and I think it even attempted to pull the trigger, but it didn't fire.
Yeah,
during
the
documentary. Yeah, in this Clubhouse documentary that has just recently, the Duran episode had premiered yesterday. Of time of recording.
Can I evaluate on this
about the Red Sox? Yeah, I was finishing my sentence, but
welcome to my world. Jarren Duran. So, yes, I'm kind of stealing Spanish's spotlight at this point, but Jarren Duran, his beginning was not as what he had hoped, and in his mentality mindset, it was more of he felt like he was putting down, or he was not accomplishing what he wanted to do at that time because he didn't know how failure was in the MLB, whereas now he's definitely learned from it, but it takes a while to process that, especially at a young age, playing mainly baseball. Like you didn't really think of anything else, like being a doctor or a mathematician or something college related, where it's like, okay, I could have gone to college for this instead of playing ball. But either way, the mentality approach for Duran, I love the outcome that came out of it. Yes, he had some struggles as a kid. Like, he was shorter than most of the kids, so when he would play baseball, he wanted to try as hard, or if not harder, than those other kids. And his dad would also push him to be what he thought he could be. The problem is, Duran just didn't get that at first. He was like, why is my dad always pushing me so hard? It's because he thought you were a gift. a gift of God. He just didn't want you to get too comfortable with it. And um, I couldn't say that like I really connect with Duran in that kind of way, but I do connect with him in a way where it's like, yeah, you were in a dark place. I was in a dark place in 2017 and didn't know what I wanted to do. I wanted to do something with computers, but decided computer science wasn't the way to go. So I pivoted and went into like another field, but it was in that process it was still a lot. There was a lot of things going on with college and other things like just not being around family. And Duran, when he would get back from Fenway, he was literally just going back to his apartment where he didn't have anybody with him to like help support him like then and there. Like he was just in his own zone, and it's definitely difficult to go through all of that just alone. I had to do it in college, and it sucked, and I didn't know if I can get out of it. With Duran, it's definitely a lot harder when there's a team in the Boston Red Sox that expects to win all the time, and it's definitely a occurring thing when the Yankees come in a rivalry game and both teams are at each other's throats. But Duran, I support you, and yeah, life can throw a curveball at you every once in a while, and it sucks, but you just kind of have to deal with it. All right,
And
sorry, Spinnis.
that is just the nature of what an everyday, like, even everyday life is kind of like that. And as men, we deal with it. As men, we definitely deal with this. It's like, trust me, I get it, because it's like, okay, he's had like these moments where it's been hard as a baseball play as a baseball player, and some of that where it's like, yeah, I can understand, like, I understand a little bit of that, because yeah, it's hard enough sometimes, even as just a standard common man, to fill the roles that we do on an everyday basis.
Yeah. I because
It's
there are times where I think like, okay, like I'm just doing my normal daily routine, and then sometimes I'm like, damn, like I wish I could have done better that day, or just in general, like you feel like it doesn't hit you as hard realizing like, okay, you own a house and you're working your butt off to like keep the payments going on that, but also like you graduated college, you have a job, like stuff like that. Like a lot of people kind of, in a sense, absorb that and kind of just roll with the punches
yeah,
because you don't know what's going to happen. But at the same time, you're like, cool, I completed a couple of years at this place. Like it doesn't hit you in the moment. It's not gonna be like an oh my god, I'm gonna cry moment, or like a thing where you're just like, oh my god, that just happened. It just it just goes like this, like a flick or like a snap of a finger. It kind of just hits, and sometimes you black out a little bit because you're like, oh my god, that happened. But at the same time, you got to like
yeah,
have a mentality of not being as, I don't know. My mentality is mainly just like, okay, what's the next thing?
yeah. I mean, that's generally where we're at. Like, that's where we're at this point. But I think at the same time, it's like, okay, yeah, you have those like, we've all had those dark moments. We've all had those dark moments where it's like it feels rough. Like it really does. Like it it does feel rough, and sometimes, yes, it ends up coming down to just some negative rock bottom type of moments. But by the grace of God, I'm out.
I
By the grace of
do.
God, I am further along, and like from those moments that I'm in now, by the grace of God, I'm back up. I'm back up, and yeah, there's times where yeah, there's times where I still feel like I get punched in the face. Like there's times where I feel like I took a major punch to the face. But at the same time, I mean, Stallone, Stallone, of course, what he in his Rocky Balboa character said, It's like, yeah, it's not about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you keep getting hit or get hit and keep moving forward.
I love that quote as well. In general, I forgot what I was gonna say, to be honest. I just think, in general, no matter what you're going through, there's always going to be a way, even if it's like the little thing that will help you in your journey, like talking it out with people, like not necessarily be like you don't have to be upfront with people, but you could be like, hey, like I'm going through some stuff and I just don't know how to process it. It's okay to talk to someone.
Yeah.
I used to think that I was better than that, or oh, haha, nothing's gonna affect me, but like it happens. Like everyone deals with it in different ways, but talk to someone.
And it becomes especially hard for us as men because
Like we're told not to cry or oh, you got to be tough, but it's like there are times where
all of a sudden it's like the goal is you have this facade of like I'm good, but
and
all of a
like
sudden
Duran
it's
dealt
like
with
we're there like
alcoholism in different ways, and so
it's
did
like we're
Lucas
there like
Ercole.
ducks. It's like we're basically like ducks. Is that yeah, on the top it's like it's smooth sailing, but yet underneath the water they're paddling like heck just to keep themselves moving.
Yeah, and like Dustin Pedroia dealt with that kind of struggle too, with like Duran was doing, but like there are definitely different times and different places where people have acted in certain ways. Like I'm sure whenever Dustin Pedroia was playing in 2006 to 2008 and 9 or whatever, people were ridiculing him even worse.
He was a rookie in 07.
Oh, well, either way, Pedroia probably dealt with a lot of things back in the day. I feel like it was probably way worse, but at the same time, like, imagine being a young player and your social media post is or not your social media post, but someone's social media post is something negative about you, and you take it to heart at the beginning. Like, that can be tough, especially as, like, with the charisma that you build up over time, and then it kind of dwindles down because a lot of people are saying negative things about you and you don't know how to feel about it. But it is what it is. Yeah. I think we should probably
I think we're rolling. Like this was definitely a good stud to have, just simply because it gave us a lot of room and a lot of brevity to kind of go about it.
Also, one more thing, Mom, Dad, I love you. And I'm okay, by the way. It just there are times and places where you talk about these things, and that was one of the times to really just kind of put it down. But anyways, let's keep going.
Hey, man. Yeah, and just we are ultimately thankful for our. And before I go along, I said we are ultimately thankful for each and every part of each and every person that is in our support systems, because they are definitely wonderful rocks that have kind of held us down. And I really, I mean, I'm absolutely grateful for having a pair of wonderful parents, and just so blessed to have my wife, and how much of a blessing she is to me in spite of my own hard-headedness and the constant thinking of I'm good when it's like when I'm like the duck it's like I could feel like everything's okay like on the surface, but yet underneath I'm trying to fight. And sometimes, ultimately it comes down to it's like, I'm just wrestling with it and I gotta wake up. And simple as that.
Speaking of being able to wake up, what's your dud?
My dud goes to hotel room service chicken wings. for being the cause of Yankee outfielder Cody Bellinger food poisoning that caused him to miss a game yesterday against the Tigers. I am not a Yankee fan, but yes, the dud goes to chicken wings.
I would have him as my dud because my fantasy league, they were like, oh, by the way, he's day to day instead of healthy. I'm like, okay, what the happened between today and yesterday? And I was like, oh, he probably had a horrible time in the bathroom at the hotel.
Yeah,
Poor
it came
the
down to bad
maids.
chicken wings that he ordered. He ordered hotel room service chicken wings while watching the NCAA National Championship. He is now sworn off of just chicken wings in general for 5 years. And the funny part is, it wasn't because of a sauce. It wasn't because of
How do you mess up
because of the
chicken
spicy sauce.
wings?
Well, it could have been just bad like food preparation standards.
Like it
And
was set out too long or whatever, and then gained the
it could have
bacteria.
like it could have been that. It could have been as simple as that. It could have been that the wings were under. He said it was like he looked good, like they looked good coming to him, but it could have come down to even being raw undercooked, cross contamination. We've watched Bar Rescue enough
Yep.
to know that these things happen. It could have been terrible storage. It could have been about a whole litany of things that could have caused it, and all it would take for it to set wrong in Cody Bellinger's stomach is just at least one.
Mm-hmm.
We've watched enough John Taffer going through and going ham on bar owners for absolutely terrible conditions to know exactly reasons why Cody Bellinger could have had food poisoning.
Anyways, all right, are we ready?
Yep, go ahead, take us out.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening to the Ruckus and The Menace Sports Podcast number 150. I am Ruckus, always constant Ruckus.
And I'm Ruckus the Menace.
And we'll see you guys in the next episode, this time a little bit sooner than now. But anyways, see you later.
Deuces.